What is going on, collectors? Optical 20 back for another video review. Today we're going to take a look at Spider-Man upgraded suit, and you can purchase this figure or pre-order this figure at bigbadtoystore.com. I'll put the link down below. $4 shipping, plus you can put it on your pile of loot. So if you have more than one figure coming out, even if it's 5, you only pay $4 shipping. And the good thing about that pile of loot is that, you know, if you want to cancel, you can cancel it within 90 days. And you know, you kind of have a figure reserved for you. So I always use that, by the way, for the figures that I'm not too sure about. But this one, there's no doubt in my mind that I was gonna pick this one up. So I went ahead and did. And this is the Spider-Man upgraded suit. I love this, man. I love this figure right here. Couldn't wait. I know it took a while to get here because of the whole shipment debacle going on in the world, basically, but now it's here. I couldn't be any happier. I was so happy that I even purchased the homemade suit. I had a homemade suit prior to this, the first one from Homecoming, but I sold it, and I don't know, for whatever reason I just got bored of it, sold it, reacquired it now, and I sold it for pretty cheap as well. And that's the one with the battle damage Headsculpt. But I don't know, I feel like I wanted the drone to go along with my setup here, so I did buy it again. I know you can buy the drone separately, but you know, I kind of want to complete the line here. And as you can see, this guy comes with tons of accessories. You got the stand here, which is, you know, pretty regular. You got the usual assortment of webs, but it comes with this beautiful head sculpt, which we're going to take a look at later. You know, hands, this wings, which it does work, but again, I can't stress this enough. I like this tray right here. It also has this nice web shooter. It's newly developed web shooter where you kind of take it off from that web shooting hand, and that's where you're going to insert the webs. However, in my estimation, it's not working too well for me. For whatever reason, the hole in that shooter is a bit big. So, and these are the wings, which is pretty cool. I must say they're pretty cool. A lot better than the Homecoming one. It's actually 3-piece. Now the silver bits that you're seeing are metal because the figure itself has magnets. And now some assortment of eyes. You got the blackout one, some kind of squinting eyes, semi-squinting eyes, and just wide eyes right here. And you got a mini cell phone, which you can't really read what's in there because I'm not using my my normal camera. I mean my normal lens, which is the macro lens. And you got a mask that is you know, kind of detached for him to hold, which is pretty cool. And Edith, you got the nice glasses here, which is die-cast, by the way. It's made out of metal. It still feels kind of fragile, so you still gotta be a little bit careful about it. But you know, it fits perfectly, and I like the fact that it's metal because I feel like it's less prone to breakage, if that makes sense. And that's the head sculpt, which we're gonna tackle later on. This is some webs that you've seen from previous Spider-Mans before. And you got the assortment of webs here, kind of like the shooting webs, the you know, slinging webs and all that stuff. And this nice drone, a mini drone, so to speak, because, well, technically they're not mini. I think they're meant to be from afar, you know, kind of like far-ish drone, because there's a big one. I believe they're the same. I think that's the look they're going for, unless there's really a mini drone. Yeah, let me know in the comments down below, because I thought they were the same size. You know, I could be wrong. It's been a while since I watched the movie. And at the bottom, that's where you're gonna insert the rod so it would stand up. And the way they did it, it was pretty cool. So they gave you two kind of like dynamic stand. One is the normal dynamic stand, and the other one is a mini one, which that is where you're gonna insert this drone. So this, you see that little extension right there. But let's go to the figure itself, shall we? Because this is the best part of, well, you know what, I would say it's the head sculpt, but you know, the figure itself isn't bad. It's nice. You know, I did sell my Homecoming for this. Initially I thought they looked pretty the same, but they're not. You know, black and red, and the other one's the more traditional color. But I like this. The good news is there's no shortage of Spider-Man. Like, I don't feel the need to go ahead and reacquire that one, especially pay aftermarket prices, as I feel like, you know, this is, if not better, you know, as good as the one that I traded. I actually didn't sell that. I traded it for 2 figures at the height of it. So I don't even know if I made good on that one because the two figures that I acquired are not the best, but still, I'm happy that I do have this in my collection. There's gonna be more Spider-Man out there, so if I miss that opportunity, I'm sure, there's a new one. There's no shortage of Spidey nowadays, especially with that VGM line. As you can see, there's texture in his clothing, so it is different. That's a bit of a rubbery texture on the top, and the boots, I like it. It's one piece fabric, which is nice because you can move him around, and you're not gonna be worried that it's gonna leave a mark, kind of like if it's a rubber, some sort of like a vinyl, so to speak. This one's nice, mixed media. I don't know, because I don't know if you want to call it that way, but I like everything about this because it is not restrictive. You can't do most poses, I would say, like the ground pound pose. You can put him on a kneeling pose. I did that, but the ground pound, I don't know. You got to have some. Maybe you could. Maybe I just didn't test it too much. I didn't put the full range of it because it is kind of scary. It's Hot Toys we're talking about here, so you see all those stitches popping out once you start doing that. But yeah, I would say it's a good combination of rubber and fabric. Beautiful. It came out beautifully, and as you can see, there's the web patterns on itself, and you can bend the elbows pretty tight. Almost 90 degrees right there. It's double jointed, I'm pretty sure. It's bunching up on the back of the elbow, but that is expected. And moving down here, the most articulated is the Homecoming one, the homemade suit, because it's just fabric all throughout. And this is the head sculpt for the masked version, which I think is pretty cool. One good thing I liked about this is it's pretty consistent as far as fabric all throughout the body, and the stitching. They removed it from the forehead to the front and moved it in the back. Pretty smart choice. You can see the lining right there. It perfectly matches up, but obviously once you move the head, that's not going to be the case. There's really not much you could do because the head is swappable. So otherwise they would do us Amazing Spider-Man 2, which is a whole one piece from fabric head sculpt all the way to the neck. And I'm sure they could do that, but that would eliminate the head sculpt altogether. So I don't like that because the head sculpt of this thing is magnificent. So, but as far as the fabric that they used, with this kind of figures, I always wanted to. That's why you saw me earlier with gloves on. I always thought that you have to kind of use gloves on these kind of things because there's oil in your hands. You don't want to transfer it over, with these kind of fabric materials. Because if you do, how are you going to wash it? You can't take it off. It's not like it's Joker's jacket that you can take off and actually wash it. So I'm a bit more reserved and careful on handling this type of figures. And as far as the eyes, you can kind of push it on the side. The reason I am not wearing gloves here because it's harder to move with gloves when you are doing reviews. But if I'm by myself, tinkering around with this one, I probably would use one. I would use the fabric gloves though. I never use latex gloves. Just tidbits of information there, only because I feel like it's more sticky. And I saw that like transferring paint on my Iron Man back then. So from here on out, I just use fabric gloves. And this is the blackout eyes. Looks pretty good. I like it. So yeah, technique is just push on one side. The top portion would eventually pop off by itself there. Pretty nice. And let's go to the unmasked head sculpt. And this is a picture of Tom Holland, which is, from the movie. And I know about the neck piece. It's not accurate and you see the bangs right there, and we transition to him. And I think that looks pretty good. Like the picture that I got, he doesn't have like a, strands of hair in his face, but, you get the idea. And like I said, the neck piece, I'm actually okay with what they did here. I can't see how they would implement that. A little bit of neck is showing. Maybe if you can pull this down, but why would you do that? It's just, for me, this is fine. I see a lot, some collectors are kind of complaining about that. It's not screen accurate. We got to give and take here. And my goodness, this head sculpt is phenomenal. I would even say because they released their quarter scale as well. And I feel like this is a lot better than that quarter scale. There's a running joke on the quarter scale that he looks like he's eating a frog, and I now I can't unsee it. However, with this one, I can't say any bad things about this head sculpt. I think it looks phenomenal. The eyes, I know, even the expression, it's pretty bland, but that's kind of how he looks like when on the picture that I just showed you. The hair, the sculpted hair, everything about this looks great. In fairness to Hot Toys, they have nailed Tom Holland from the get-go, even from Homecoming. So this is a different sculpt, I feel like, but that is no joke as well. If you go back and look at that head sculpt, and let's get a little bit closer here, just so we can see the detail. The good thing about Tom Holland too is there's not a whole lot. He has no facial hair. He's young, so it doesn't have texture in his face like wrinkles and all that stuff. But still, it looks phenomenal. So kudos to Hot Toys. They did a fantastic job on this head sculpt. Now, if you guys bought the stealth suit, just the spider monkey, it came with this skin tone neck, and I'll see this is the reason why. And here he is wearing Edith, and this is the reason why this head sculpt is so good to be left inside a box. So I'm gonna have to find out a way, either get custom clothing for him, body, whatever the case may be. Head sculpt's too good, can't stay in a box. Or I can use it from this Night Monkey one, but again, kind of don't want to waste the head sculpt of the other one, because that one's pretty cool as well. So that's a dilemma. And this is the part where you don't see anyone complaining about the head sculpt or saying, hey man, I don't even display my Spider-Man with a head sculpt anyway. It's always with a mask on, because the head sculpt is really, really good. And as far as articulation, he got ratchet joints. And I guess that's good for somebody like Spider-Man, because he does a lot of dynamic poses. You won't hear it here, but I can tell you it's ratcheted joints. Of course, you're gonna see some bunching, like the ab crunch. You can do that. Head sculpt, you can move up, you can look up, look down. Elbows can bend pretty nicely here. Not all the way up like other figures. It's because of the restriction of the suit. But, you can do some decent poses. You can put them on a split. Again, the legs are ratcheted joints. The but long-term problem, I would say, is you see it bunching up. No big deal, because in real life, that's what happens to clothing once you do this kind of poses. But these are expensive toys, so I would say be careful. If you're going to display him, might as well display him like a museum pose, and, put him on a nice pose if you're taking pictures. Some toe articulation here, and because of the boots, it's made out of mostly fabric. It doesn't have seams, so it is done beautifully. All those articulation points with this figure. So now let's move on to some poses before we wrap this thing up. So I'll just showcase some poses in here. See him like pretty dynamic here. On that bridge, on the scene, on the movie, with that drone flying behind him. See that? You see, she shot some web. So I actually inserted the web on the web shooter, and it just fell off, because it's just loose. That's just how it is. But I love this figure. Again, can't get enough of this. It's Spider-Man. A lot of people are going to say, it's restrictive. I don't think so. Of course, you can't replicate all the poses. It's still a figure. But the fact that I can do those, or even attempt to somewhat get close to them, I think it's a win for collectors. And look at this pose right here. See the stitching on his side as well. It's pretty massive. But overall, I can't recommend this enough. That drone is nice. And here he is, top, just texting, being a kid, Peter Parker. And for those asking, the diorama that I used here, this sort of, rooftop, is from Assassin's Creed Damn Toys. Forgot the name. It's from the movie version, but it is nice. You know, I think it's fitting. My uncle actually made me a gargoyle kind of stand, but I chose this instead. It's easier because he's sitting down. Kind of reminded me of that scene from the PlayStation game. But you see the head sculpt, it's just wonderful, man. It's really nice, and the suit itself, not too shabby. I can't wait for the next Spider-Man. As a matter of fact, I'm a huge Spider-Man fan. I just, especially Tom Holland, I think he's the perfect blend. He's still young as well, so he just captures that. He's not a teenager anymore, but the teenager aspect of the character. And here he is with the wings. And like I told you guys earlier, the wings, as you can see, there's something flickering. It's because behind is a green screen, and it doesn't really work well, because of this transparent, translucent kind of wings. So it's clipping. We call that clipping on green screen, but it's nice. It stays in place. However, you gotta position the arms, the legs in a proper way, so you kind of hit the magnet points. And here he is, right next to Molten Man. So if you have the other figure, which is the Night Monkey, you can kind of play around with some diorama pieces there. The pulsating effect. This is one of the, I would say, main, if not the main reason why I bought that figure, is because of the base. The base is just too nice. So and it works well as well with this Spider-Man, and we'll see if it's gonna do the same thing once I do get the homemade suit version. But so far you can see him kicking his legs forward, no problem whatsoever. You're gonna see some bunching up, obviously, because it's still clothes, and but they heal though. That's the thing. I would say don't worry and don't let that deter you from enjoying your figure and posing him around, because for me, for the most part, it does heal back. It does revert back to the original state. And here he is, height comparison wise, with Amazing Spider-Man 2, which I still love even after all these years. And Night Monkey, which is stealth suit Spider-Man. Can't wait for that homemade suit version. But so far you can see the height comparison. It is pretty much in scale with all of them. So there you go, guys. Look at all the accessories that is included in this release. I am telling you right now, you would not regret it when you pick this one up. I mean, is there gonna be another Spider-Man? I am pretty sure, because I know they're already filming. But when are you really gonna get it? 2 years from now, 3 years from now? And the good news is, this is with Spider-Man, you can have multiple suits. He is like Tony Stark / Iron Man, where it's still cool. It doesn't matter. There's some differences. Maybe it's subtle, maybe it's not. But the fact is, they keep on getting better and better. Plus, if you try to skip on this one, like I said, when are you going to be able to get a new Spider-Man? It's going to take a while. And the price is not bad. $250, 2 head sculpts. You got that drone, you got Edith, you got all assortment of weapons, hands, accessories. So for the price, I would say that's not bad at all, especially now that you've seen Hot Toys, their prices are climbing up and all that stuff. So I definitely do recommend this figure. So thank you for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, like this channel, subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so. Follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitch. And I will see you guys in the next video.